1943. A Bank of England examiner holds a £5 note up to the light. Something about it isn't right. The paper feels right. The watermark looks right. Even the ink is nearly perfect. And that's exactly the problem. This note was never printed by the Bank of England. It was forged inside a Nazi concentration camp. By the war's end, over £134 million in fake pounds had been printed. Some estimates run far higher. How does a team of prisoners produce currency so convincing that Britain's own central bank can't tell it apart? It starts in 1940, with a failed attempt, a stubborn SS officer, and a plan too ambitious for its own good. The first version of the plan is called Operation Andreas. Infighting among Nazi officials causes it to collapse within months. 2 years later, the idea resurfaces. This time it's led by SS Major Bernhard Kruger, and given his name, the new goal is bigger than sabotage. Flood Britain's economy with counterfeit pounds, and fund Nazi espionage with the rest. Kruger needs specialists, engravers, printers, bankers, forgers. He finds them in the last place anyone would expect. Kruger searches concentration camp records for prisoners with skill in engraving, printing, graphic design, and banking. 142 Jewish prisoners are selected from camps across occupied Europe. Their skills, for now, will keep them alive. They're transported to Sachsenhausen concentration camp, just outside Berlin, and separated from the general prisoner population. 2 barracks are sealed off behind their own barbed wire. The prisoners call it Block 19. Inside, conditions are strange. Better food, real beds, a workshop instead of hard labor. But the isolation is absolute. Nobody inside Block 19 is allowed contact with the rest of the camp. Their work must stay completely secret. Their first task isn't printing, it's studying real British banknotes, examined for months under magnification. They're hunting for the Bank of England's secret defenses. Tiny, deliberate flaws hidden in every genuine note. Eventually, they identify roughly 150 distinct security marks, a different signature flaw for every denomination. Next, the paper. Real banknote paper has a texture and a watermark no ordinary printer can replicate. Through relentless trial and error, they recreate the paper's exact fiber composition, weight, and watermark pattern. Then the engraving. Britannia's portrait, the vignette on every note, has to be reproduced line for line. Every signature on every note is studied and copied by hand until it's indistinguishable from the original. Finished notes are deliberately aged, creased, soiled, and worn, so they look like they've circulated for years. By early 1943, the counterfeit factory is fully operational, running 2 shifts a day inside Block 19. 12,000 sheets of specialized banknote paper arrive every month from a secret Nazi-run paper mill. By late 1943, production reaches nearly 1 million counterfeit notes every single month. They focus on 4 denominations: 5, 10, 20, and 50 pounds, the exact notes carried by ordinary Britons. By the time the operation ends, nearly 4 million fake £5 notes alone have been printed. Add the 10s, 20s, and 50s together, and the final total comes to over £134,610,000. If you're enjoying this story, hit subscribe. It helps the channel keep telling stories like this one. Now, where did the money go? The forged notes don't stay in the camp. Trucks quietly move them to a castle in the Italian Alps. From there, the SS launders the fake currency into the real economy through neutral banks and trusted intermediaries. Some of it pays a Turkish valet codenamed Cicero, a spy feeding secrets from inside the British embassy in Ankara. Cicero hands over classified British documents, photographed from inside the ambassador's own safe, paid entirely in fake pounds. More of the forged fortune funds an even bolder operation: the daring rescue of Italy's fallen dictator, Mussolini. Fake British pounds, printed by prisoners inside a concentration camp, are now quietly funding real Nazi military operations. And Britain has no idea any of this is happening. Not yet. The notes are simply too good to detect. In 1944, Himmler personally expands the mission. The next target isn't British currency, it's the American dollar. The dollar is harder. Tiny colored silk fibers woven into the paper prove nearly impossible to replicate exactly. By January 1945, the team has forged the front of the $100 bill. 20 samples are produced for review. The engraving and printing are excellent, but the paper still isn't quite right. Time, unfortunately, is running out. By February 1945, Allied forces are closing in fast. The presses inside Sachsenhausen fall silent for the final time. The prisoners of Block 19 are evacuated south, deeper into occupied territory, away from the advancing front lines. The SS can't risk the evidence being captured. Trucks loaded with crates head toward a remote alpine lake. Printing plates, machinery, and crates of forged currency are dumped straight into the freezing water and left to sink. Within weeks, the war in Europe is over. The most convincing counterfeit currency in history sits quietly at the bottom of a lake. British authorities are left with a terrifying question. How much of this fake money is already circulating undetected? The Bank of England can no longer fully trust its own currency. Every high-value note becomes a potential suspect. The panic forces an unprecedented decision. Britain begins withdrawing and completely redesigning its higher-value banknotes.